So we're now going to go ahead and start drawing the car body. Now, I can use a combination of line, arcs, and also I can use this spline interpolation. Okay, let me start off with the line tool. Now I'm going to go ahead and zoom in here. I'm going to start here from this upper left hand corner. I'm going to click once. Keep in mind that my car has a height of 45 millimeters. I'm actually starting right on top of the CO2 cartridge housing. So I'm going to now move in the direction I want this line to be drawn. Once again, pick up your ruler, measure the length of that line. My line has a length of 60, so I'm going to go ahead and type in 60 and hit enter. And now I can use a combination of tools here. I could use either the arc tool or maybe even the spline interpolation tool. Arc is only 3 points, so some of you might find you can click once, then find your endpoint. Once again, you're going to need to pick up a ruler. Make sure you do not go below this pink line. This is to make sure we have at least a 20 millimeter thickness here. So go ahead and click anywhere along this line, and I'm measuring to see how far, and or I can just look at the grid spaces and count. I'm going to click a second time, and once again with an arc, the third click is going to be your tangent point. Okay. Now, another option is, like we saw in one of our videos, we can select spline interpolation. This gives us more points, so I can click once, twice, 3 times, and I'll click a 4th time. We'll go ahead and hit the green check mark. Remember, with these points, if you hover over the point, you can click and drag, and you can actually control the shape of this spline. Okay, oops, let me hit Control Z. Don't want to move it, I want to move only the point. There we go. Okay, keep in mind that you can have a lot of control, and sometimes you might be limited. So I'm going to go ahead and just hit Control Z. Let me go ahead and just leave the spline the way I actually drew it to begin with. Now this is going to be at times something you need to just kind of bear with me. We don't have to draw a full outline of my car, and here's why. I'm going to click on the line tool. Let me go and zoom in. My car body has a line that goes straight, and then I'm going to click here, and because the front of my car is the same shape as my front airfoil, I don't need to draw anything else beyond this point. Some of you might have to use the arc tool, and depending on your design, some of you might have to include possibly something else here in the front. Okay, with my design, I do not need this, so I'm going to hit Control Z. Okay, now one thing I do need to make sure though is I do have a complete outline to the car. So you notice there's no line or geometry here. So to include a line will help close this gap here. So I'm going to click from here to here. And once again, depending on your design, some of you might have the car body continuing underneath the side pod, which I can definitely draw a line, for example, that goes from here, and it might go all the way to the back of the car. Okay, because that's how you drew your car. You have the bottom of your car here. Okay, but with my design, I'm actually going to go ahead and hit Control Z. I actually have the bottom of my side pod and the bottom of the car are actually going to be the same shape. So you may or may not need a line here. Okay, but with that being the case, I do need to add a line here. And because I have no line back here, I'm going to click once. Some of you might be clicking all the way at the bottom, but the back of my car is also going to follow the outline of my rear airfoil. So I'm going to zoom in and make sure I can see this point align with that point. Okay, once again, what's important to see and understand here is that my entire car body does not have any gaps. As I go all the way around the outline of my car body, I have some piece of geometry and there are no openings in the gap. Okay, if I don't include this line right here, you'll notice it will not extrude properly. Same with this line right here. Same with this line in the back. Okay, so if you have any errors, make sure you don't have any openings in your body outline. Let's go ahead and select Finish Sketch. Let's go ahead and select Extrude. And this is always a good sign. You can see that I have this pink with green outline on it. So I'm now going to go ahead and select once again symmetry. This time I'm going to select 32. Okay. If you see that little first aid icon, you may want to raise your hand and have me come over and take a look and help you out. It's probably better for us to see if we can find the opening in the gap and fix it ourselves than have Inventor fix it. Everything's checking out fine for me, so let me go ahead and just hover over this part of my car. I'm going to click once. Once again, the extrusion is set to 32 and I had symmetry selected. Let me go ahead and hit OK. And as I look around my car, everything's checking out. Everything looks great. Okay, let me go ahead and hit the save option. And let's go ahead and move on to the next video, and we're going to add axles and wheels. Good job.